Given the transformations anticipated, given the needs and obstacles, what role should mobility play in business strategy?
Yes, so mobility, I touched on it a minute ago, but mobility should be a fundamental part of a business strategy. So number one, from a sales standpoint, being able to advertise via mobile represents a much more targeted opportunity for a big brand like a Procter & Gamble or a Coke, etc. On the enterprise side, the ability to transfer tasks to the field. When I used to manage in our paging business years ago, we had a large sales organization. I used to tell our salespeople, I don't want to see you in the office. If you're in the office, you're not accomplishing your task. Your task is to be out there with customers or prospective customers. You have to have mobile tools and information if you're going to tell people you need to be out in the sales in the field. So that's another area. A third area is the whole green and environmental movement, right? So the fact that you're going to be able to reduce driving times with people creates a huge benefit in society. And all the machine-to-machine applications, so remote telemetry. You're a utility company. Today you send somebody around and they have to go read meters everywhere. That uses a lot of petrol or gas, but basically with a remote mobile application, you don't have to send anybody out there. For the emerging markets, you have an environment again where people can access the internet, and on the corporate responsibility side, mHealth is one of the best opportunities out there for mobile, where you don't have to have a medical facility in every single village. You can use remote diagnostics, transfer information back and forth. All of those things, I think, create a huge opportunity for mobile.
Perhaps this question is related, but where's the big opportunity for Vodafone or perhaps Verizon Wireless?
So, the opportunity is to make everybody's lives mobile. That's the most exciting thing, as opposed to having people feel like they have to be tied down to one place to make their life mobile. Now, that's a grand vision, but if you can provide people's information in an easy form wherever they go, that is a transforming activity. So for us to be able to do that, we have to build faster and faster networks. We need to have the capacity to do that. We need to know our customers. There needs to be regulatory support. On the regulatory side, there needs to be spectrum that's awarded so that we can continue to see a lot of growth in our networks. We need to make sure that there's not a hostile environment to transmitting customer information. You always want to protect the customer information, but if the restrictions get so tight in that area, you end up not offering much other than regular voice and data. So all those things have to happen, but if they do happen, again, the upside is huge.
If you were to give advice to an MBA that's interested in pursuing a career in the mobile space, what advice might you give them?
Yes, so there's a couple of things I would do. One would be having them think about what skills are the most important to succeed in a company like ours. And then the second one would be job entry strategies. So first of all, let me talk about the skill sets. So first of all, somebody has to have an innate understanding of technology. Not, widgets and tiny little detail, but they need to understand how mobile networks run, and importantly, they need to understand the whole internet space, because we're no longer just network businesses. We're internet companies more and more transmitting information. So that's one skill set. Second one is, as a business gets more competitive, and you cited disintermediation, which is a real issue for us, the ability to differentiate is key. That means we need people with more and more marketing and commercial skills. They have to be able to look at the products and services and say, why would somebody buy from Vodafone and not buy from somebody else? Is it a product issue? Is it a pricing issue? Is it a distribution channel? What's the look and feel of the company? That's getting to be a bigger and bigger issue. The third area would be what I call global skills. So we're a global company. We operate in 28 countries around the world. We have to have people that know that countries operate in different ways. It's so easy to say, well, we do things in the U.S. this way, and that's the way it's going to work everywhere, when the reality is the demographics of the markets are different, the penetration rates of mobile are very different, the availability of fixed is very different. All of that differs. We need people that can move into different countries and know that they're different and they operate differently. And finally, with that global piece, is we need people who can understand global versus local. I think the most difficult set of decisions we have to make as leaders at Vodafone is, where do you put activities? It's very easy to say everything should go global. Put everything in a headquarters, you get traditional scale, but then what happens is you lose that local spirit that differentiates you in the market. Conversely, if you have everything that is just local, you basically say, well, why do you need a Vodafone? You don't need to have multiple countries. You just break the company up and have individual countries. That doesn't work either. There's not value in that. You have to know where to strike that balance. So the final piece is job entry strategies. And my general advice to people on that is start broad and work your way to more specific. Our companies still are quote unquote generalist businesses. So moving into marketing, moving into strategy, I think are great places because you can take that skill set and go geographically to different places with us. Marketing and strategy are not going to go away in our company. If you go really narrow in some aspect of content or some aspect of new services, those areas may be hot today, but they're not going to be hot tomorrow. And you've kind of built your career on that one area. So stay broad would be my advice overall. Final advice, you didn't ask me for 3, I'll give you 3 anyway, is don't overmanage your career. And I've noticed this in being in HR for a period of time, the company, sometimes you have people that want to overmanage and say, well, I'm a line guy and I belong in the US and I believe in a growth business. And what happens is businesses don't always work that way. You may find a boss that sees a real complementary skill set in you and they want you to work with them. Take advantage of that. It's a little bit like in an academic setting. Sometimes you pick the class for the teacher, not for the content itself. Be flexible enough because that ebb and flow of the career is where I think some of the biggest gains are. I'm a beneficiary of it. I was very flexible. I've moved 8 times, all different roles. They've all been great and they've all allowed me to advance my career. So enough of the preaching, but that would be the message.
So finally, if you had a crystal ball, where do you think the mobile space will be in 2 years and perhaps projecting even a further out 5 years from now?
So I'm a mobile zealot here, but I think everything will be mobile in the future. I think people will say, why would I need to be in a fixed location to do my tasks? That means that people are going to be using mobile for voice, for data. They're going to be able to go wherever they want. They're going to get all the services they want. And we're going to attach mobile devices on everything. Picture even your clothing, where you don't know where your clothing is, or a retailer wants to monitor, goods moving back and forth. Your pets, you want to know where they are. There's a tremendous potential. We as an industry have to do a lot to get there. We have to get costs down. We need new small devices. We need the right content. We need a lot of things, but those things are all starting to happen. And if we stay on that path, I think the world will be mobile in the future.
Terry, thank you so much for joining us today.
Jennifer, it's my pleasure. Thank you.